hello. Once again, you are listening to WFTB 104.1 Tab Nashville Gospel Radio. Also being recorded Sacrificial Conversations on today. And we are blessed again to be in the place, be in the building. Monica, how are you doing on today? How are you doing?
Doing good. It's glad to be back. I know you had your own series last week, so I was able to get a small break. So it's great to be back on today.
Okay, did you enjoy your small break?
I did. Well, of course, I missed it. So it's a little short vacation, but I'm back now. I hope everybody had a blessed Monday on this very hot day. You see all my curls gone. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, good day. Yeah, couldn't ask for a better day.
All right, but on tonight, y'all, I told you all this has been such an amazing month for me, you all, because God has blessed me to bring in some amazing men to the platform. And I'm talking about Black American African men to this platform. And I'm talking about men that's doing some powerful things, showing up in their homes, business owners, authors. Tonight, we have another special guest on tonight. I was introduced to this young man by one of my great friends named Tony Williams. And anytime this young lady introduces me to someone, I know it's someone powerful. And when she did, I was like, okay. So me and this brother, we connected, and I've been waiting to actually meet him in person and see him. So tonight, y'all, we have none other than the brother Anthony Hall with us tonight. Brother, how are you doing on tonight, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for this opportunity, but I'm doing really well. And again, yes, it was extremely hot today, and my curls came out too.
Yes, brother. Can you give us a little background of your life, a little resume of things that you do, brother, before we get off into this interview on tonight?
All right, thank you. I came here and I came to Tennessee in 1987 to play basketball at Tennessee Tech University. I was there for 3 years, and like a lot of students, I feel like I have come to realize that I did not have the emotional maturity because all I was doing was playing basketball, and of course I flunked out. They sent me home. I knew that I did not want to be a statistic. My parents raised me to always want to get an education. My father always encouraged, his famous saying to me was, one thing no one can ever take from you is your education.
Yeah, man.
And so I went back to school and I got married, ended up moving to Nashville, sat out for about a year and a half, ended up going to the Tennessee State University, where it was really life-changing.
Okay.
To see Black men. My first 3 professors were all Black men: Dr. Jones, Dr. Levi Jones, Coach Temple, and Dr. Rose. So that was the first time since leaving Macon, Georgia, that I had that many male influences, and that's how I grew up with my dad and my uncles and stuff. And so, from there, I just been working with youth, referee high school and college basketball, coach golf with the first tee and with the PGA Junior League. And really, my thing is not so much about the golf skills. Mine is more about the emotional intelligence or the life skills part of golf, what golf teaches you. And I've just been really blessed to collaborate with great organizations, with other brothers who are doing this work. I'm only sitting here because of the shoulders of those that came before me, that poured into me and that poured into others. And that's why I'm here, So joined in with a couple of brothers, and we have an organization called Why We Can't Wait.
Wow.
And that's an after-school program, mentor program, leadership development, partner with some other great brothers. And we have an organization through the Obama Foundation called MBK Nashville.
I saw that, yeah.
And then other things I'm doing is working in my church with the men in our men's ministry at the Impact Church in Rivergate. And so just being who I am, being what God has called me to be. And I always say I'm an advocate, I'm an encourager, I'm a man in the background.
Absolutely, brother. Talk a little bit more about the MBK, though. You brought that up. Can we dive into that just a little bit? What's
Oh,
that?
yes.
What's that whole organization about?
And so Ashford Hughes, who is Chief Executive Officer at Metro Nashville Public Schools, along with Lonnell Matthews, who is our juvenile court clerk, they are co-chairs for the foundation. I'm on the subcommittee along with some other great brothers like Mark Peak, Marquito Days. And so the whole emphasis there is around supporting and providing leadership, structure, cultural identity for Black and brown boys.
Wow.
And so we meet once a month. We have a program called The King and Me, where we're just pouring into young Black males and brown males. We've also, from that, also been able to then do a separate piece that where we take the fathers and talk about things that they need to be able to talk about, give them a brave space so that they can emote, they can have some of the conversations around things that they're going through as a father, as a Black father. And so we take the boys through a series of different things. And so right now we our big thing, we use a brick as our metaphor. And we're always talking about, what do you build as a young male? What do you build? And so we talk about joy. This past week at our event, we talked about unity. What does that look like, having a unified community?
Yeah.
And I was really excited because I was able to take one of my grandsons, the only one that's here in Nashville. I was able to take him with me. And so that's always a way for me to feed my soul. And that's what we do with MBK.
Let me jump in real quick. What do you think the biggest thing, or what was the biggest impact that he had from that actual event that you had with him this weekend, your grandson?
For my grandson, they've grown up in a home where we talk about the importance of understanding identity. My daughter does an amazing job. He's surrounded around literature. He's surrounded around images of positive Black men. And, he's only 8. So, his whole thing was, I'm just running around having fun with other kids.
Okay.
But I was, what spoke to me, and the thing that I was most proud about, was we talked about the gun and flag and the colors. And the question was, so what does the Black star represent? And Xavier raised his hand. He was like, that represents the people. And so again, shout out to my daughter Tia, who's always pouring into him that way, exposing him. He's typically at the Tennessee State University summer camp. Okay. So he's around this. And so it just made me feel very proud.
That's awesome. Baby, you got anything you want to jump?
Yes. So how do you get these young men to come to your program?
Mm-hmm. Great question. So by word of mouth, obviously no one not uses social media. I am not a big social media person, but Ashford, Marquito, Mark, Lonnell, and them, they post a lot of what we're doing on social media through Instagram and X and I'm not even one. What's the other thing?
TikTok.
Not TikTok. What's the other?
Facebook.
That's it. Yeah. So we do a lot of stuff on there. And then, of course, by us working as employees for Metro Nashville Public Schools, then we're always disseminating the information to the different schools, send it directly to principals, school counselors, social workers, just anyone that's in the network. And so a lot of times it's just word of mouth. It's people coming out from the schools. It's through relationships with people that we have outside of work.
So what's the age groups?
We typically support kids from the age of 5th grade all the way through 18, 19 years old.
That's awesome. So you got anything else real quick?
That's a wide range.
Yes, that's an amazing range right there. So this question is going to be good, what I'm going to ask you next. What do you believe the biggest lie that people are saying about our youth today?
I don't know necessarily about what is the biggest lie. I think the thing that for us in MBK and for us at Why We Can't Wait is, I don't think that we encourage kids to dream anymore.
Wow.
We are taskmasters. We grow up and like, hey, get on this job and work it for 20 years and have your 401k and have some other side hustles and have your money and then retire and live happily ever after. And that's not necessarily the case in today's world. I just don't think that we encourage kids to dream. Again, I heard your wife speaking when we first got on, is that, but what are we actually advertising? What are we doing? We have some amazing black, brown, white, green, black, Native American, Swahili, you name it. We have great students in this community. However, oftentimes what is perpetuated out there is the negative images. When you're seeing black boys in handcuffs, seeing black men with what they the wife beaters on, pants sagging, slides on, and you're not necessarily seeing from mainstream, when people are doing the right thing, they're doing good things. We had an event for our kids, the youth court event, and kids was getting sworn in, and just to be able to hear them be able to articulate and to just share their visions, their dreams was amazing. I was saying to the kids, well, why are you all not on social media promoting this? Look at all that you're doing. You have been misled that every time something negative is going on, you grab your phones, you share that, but you're not sharing this. And this is a huge group of young people who are doing things positive, people who are speaking with correct English, kids who shoulders up high, males and females, just doing an amazing job. Really kind of talking about their careers and just being a part of their community, just being leaders in their communities. And that's just not what perpetuated. So I don't necessarily know exactly what's being lied about. I know from my lens, I feel, but this may be a blind spot for me, is that the good things are not illuminated the way that the negative things are.
Yeah. So that draws me to my next question, bro. Have we become quick to punish our children versus understanding them?
I can speak for me as a parent. I can speak for me as a grandparent, and my kids. They'll tell you. I grew up in a time. I'm 58 years old. I grew up in a time. My dad said, "You do as I do. You do as I say. Not as I do." And I raised my kids that way early on. As I've gotten older, as I've gotten more involved with things like restorative practices, which that's what I do in metro schools, is being able to realize. And again, there's no template for how to raise kids. Having multiple kids, the consequences for one, it may be really effective, and it may not be for the other. The other, it may come down as being harsh. And so you really have to spend time with your young person. I think, yes, in a lot of ways as a society, and maybe because of fear, I don't think any of us want to go out to our car and have someone pull a gun on us. I just think that those things happen, and we live in a society where punitive is really easier. It's much easier to suspend a child, okay, to just whoop a child. But again, how many of the adults have had the opportunity to be stretched and to grow and to understand brain science and things of that nature? Like what we're talking about today. One of the things in metro schools, I'm not going to be here to speak for metro schools. I'm here to speak just on my own, but I will say this. I'm very excited. I'm thrilled to work for a director of schools like Dr. Adrian Battle, who supports the work that we do. We try to find ways of keeping kids in school. We have a class where for both the parents and the students have to come, opposed to them being expelled from school.
Okay.
And she, along with our board chairs and representatives, they support that. We're trying to find alternatives to kids being in the home, and also a part of that also is educating parents.
That's it. That's key, bro. That is. Go ahead.
So I have a quick question. So, do you see? Because I'm not. My kids are grown now. So I only can rely on what I hear in social media. I know you're in the school system, and then you're working with these young boys. Do you see a lot of anger in our youth? Do you see more anger, or do you see the youth that's want to be something, but because we have so many rappers, we have so many basketball players out here, and when I watch the games, I see them all tatted up. So now our kids, they want to have the tattoos, they want to have all the jewelry, and a lot of them are from homes where the dads are not in the home, and so it's just the mom. So that's their role model there. And then the ones that I guess are raised themselves, to me, they're mad because they can't, I guess, have their father's not there. So I guess I'm asking, do you see a lot of anger in our youth, or is it just something that another negative that they have out there about our youth versus you seeing more positive?
And just she did put a special thing on what you said. And is it because of fathers not being in the home as well? So that was a great question. Great question.
Yes, thank you. And it's a lot. So if I omit something, please remind me. Number one, I will say, and again, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a trained therapist. It's just my lived experience. I'm not sure if all boys, or if I don't even want to say the word all, I want to say that a lot of boys are angry. I think what I'm realizing and learning is that more and more are frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
We have not adequately been able to give them the skills. Think about, my mom don't know anything about Facebook. And so you're seeing these images out there. This was not created by kids. This was created by adults. Mm-hmm. All of these platforms, these were created by adults. So I'll say that. And I'll also say that, part of it is the culture. I remember being in the car with my mom, who's soon to be 91. I can remember being in the car with my mom in my teen years, and we were passing someone that I recognized from the neighborhood, and I just gave him the head nod. And, everybody know that means what's up.
Yeah.
And my mother almost like hit me like, what are you doing being disrespectful? I'm like, whoa, Mom, that's just how we say what's up. And so I think, the culture is different. I think there are a lot more fathers who are in homes, but again, that's not what's shown. Mm-hmm. I do know that there are fathers that are not in home. If you think about how did we get to a place to where more and more males were being incarcerated. Think about our laws. Think about things in our legal system that causes men to not be in the home. As someone who's divorced from my first wife, had kids. When we went down to do about child support and all that, where was there anything in there about parenting?
Wow.
Where was there anything in there that talked about parenting? So just from a systemic position, from where I'm sitting in my lived experiences, I think number one, that's the culture. That's what sells. I remember one of my closest friends, we was talking about Allen Iverson and all the tattoos, him and Stephon. I'm like, man, that don't sell on Madison Avenue. Well, what have we realized now? That do sell on Madison Avenue. When I'm refereeing basketball games, there's not a place I go, whether it is in an affluent community, it's in a private school, or it's in an inner city school, that hip hop is not being played during warm up.
Yeah.
So again, it's a cultural thing. I think there's a lot of fathers that are there. I think that from a system standpoint, do we have a system in place that talks about and really leans in to talk about community, talk about how do you parent? One of the things talking about in our men's groups, several brothers talk about after they have not been with their family and they're not there, the challenges of trying to parent when you're not there for whatever those reasons, whatever the variables may be. And then brothers get married, and you marry, and now there are teenage kids, there's young adult kids, and some of those challenges. But again, who's coaching, who's teaching how to overcome, how to address these things? I think probably everyone that probably got married in a traditional church probably went through the premarital counseling or anything, but where's the continuance?
Yeah.
So I hope I answered it. I think that culture does play a huge part. I think that there are a lot of fathers that are present, but that's not what's depicted. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of our boys are not necessarily always angry, but more frustrated because they're trying to find themselves, and they don't know, and all these things going on, and you want the Jordans, you want to be cool, you want to be popular, and all these things, and it's just so much going on, and there's so many opportunities for mischief, unlike when I was growing up.
One more question. So you're in the school system. I can remember growing up very few male teachers. Can you speak on that? Because you always hear the young men talk about their football coach, their basketball coach, but not my math teacher, my English teacher. Is only athletics. So do you think men just don't want to be in that environment? Because I'm thinking if we had more male teachers out there that can tame some of these kids, especially the boys. Because it's like they always say, the dad needs to be in a home too, because a mama can't tell the son about manly things. You know what I'm saying? Only a man can do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, well, if we had more male teachers and more people doing what your organization is doing, maybe we can win the youth. But it's just not a lot of male teachers.
I mean, I think, again, you got to look at a system. I think you raise a very good point. I don't have any data on that. Other than what I physically see. Yes, there are not a lot of men. And if you look at the elementary tier, even less men when they're first starting out. And I think also just that there are a lot of things coming with education. Again, if you're my age, certain behaviors, when you see a young person demonstrating things outside of those boundaries, we was raised to immediately discipline, to address it, whatever. And in that setting, you got to be really careful. You can easily lose your livelihood. And so I think that's something that while a lot of men may not get in education, I know just from a lot of my buddies who I play golf with, they always say, man, I'll take my hat off. I couldn't do it.
Have you been put in a position though where you've been in school and you almost had to get rough somebody up, or get in the position where you had to defend yourself?
I've never had to defend myself, but God, I will say, but God. Yeah. There's been times, there's things that, again, I have my implicit biases. I believe that young men should carry themselves certain ways. You should not be disrespectful to anyone, but especially not to the ladies, to the females. And so there's been times when I have had to take a deep breath. And one of the things that we say is the more connections, the less corrections. And I feel like for me, I can connect and identify with a lot of kids. And I think that's what happened when you're a coach, when you're around athletics, when kids see people who look like them. Just like if you remember earlier, I stated that when I first went to Tennessee State, unlike at Tennessee Tech, my three of the four teachers that I had were all black men. Yeah. And they talked to me just like my uncle and my dad. I had a daughter on the way. And I remember Dr. Jones like, hey, boy, you 24 years old. You ain't got time to be playing. Woo. Didn't you tell me you have a daughter on the way? You have a child on the way. You don't have time to be playing. I responded to that. And so I think that's a big thing. And I think, no, I've never had to defend myself. Most students, there's always those one-offs. Most students are going to be respectful, or even in high school, cats that are larger than you are. For the most part, they know who you are. They know how you stand. They know how you get down. They know you come from a place of love. And, you either, hey, I'm going to walk on this side of the hall, you walk on that side of the hall. And when we're in a better space, we're gonna grip up, we're going to love on each other, we're going to pat on the back. And so for me, I always try to greet the young boys by saying, what's up, young king? Hello, young king. When I talk to the young ladies, I say, good morning, Black excellence. So wow. I'm always a person who's trying to break those barriers starting out.
That's good, man. That is something awesome. Amazing that you just sit there and said. You're actually affirming them before you even have a conversation with them. You're letting them know that you're a king, you're royalty before I even go to the next conversation. So which male or female, which one accepts that better though? Because in this society today, I'm seeing that our women, our little girls are having a hard time. Which one do you think are really accepting that type of affirmation when you say "Hello, young king," "Hello, young queen"? Or do you think it's?
I don't know. I'll say because primarily I pay a lot of more of attention to the young men because again, boundaries.
Yeah.
I am a male. They are female. So again, I will speak. But with the young kings, I'm like, "What's up, young king? How you doing, man? What's happening with you, young blood? How you doing, man? Everything good with you? I see you got a little mustache. I see whatever. What if you read?" With some of the young ladies, I am a lot more professional. And so again, it's just those boundaries of saying good morning, Black excellence. And if they respond and they smile, it's just still just a wave. I'll pinky lock up with them, things of that nature. But I think I gravitate more to the young men.
You guess so?
No, I just want to ask. So you mentioned golf. So these young men are being introduced to playing golf? Some of them.
Some of them. I've had several of our kids. Just actually worked with the Urban League on 2 weeks ago. We had a group of young ladies that came out who were just want to get them exposed to golf. We had them come out first. We did some golf drills with them. Some of them had been on the golf course before, and then next week we had the young men come out. I always share my story with them that I had no idea where the golf course was in Macon, Georgia. I knew it was on that side of town. I didn't know. I asked my mom. I don't know. I was probably 30 or so, and she told me how to get over there. And she's like, if you get down to that funeral home, you done went too far. But I had, some of my mentors, one of my math teachers, when I got over there, a lot of them, they played golf. It just wasn't the thing to do. And people always ask, why do more inner city kids not get involved in golf? Well, you got to think about, again, that culture thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be quiet. It costs money. Golf clubs are very expensive. You got to buy balls. You got to pay to go onto the golf course to play versus, hey, I can go down Hartman Park and shoot ball.
Shoot ball. Right.
Also, guess what? There's people cheering at Hartman Park when I'm shooting basketball. More of my friends tend to want to play basketball versus going to play golf. So, we do have kids. We've exposed them through, While We Can't Wait, we actually took them through a 8-week, the whole program that we use at the First Tee, took them through all of that a few years ago. And again, just want to get them exposed because, again, I want to say, I think I read this in Time Life magazine. They said that there was more $1 million deals made on the golf course than in the boardroom. They may be confirmed in the boardroom, but those are relationships. And I talk to kids all the time. I'm like, hey, man, sometimes, no difference between me and Tiger Woods. I'm getting paid to play. If I'm on my job and there's a tournament and I get sent to go play as a represent, my individual agency, I'm like, hey, I got paid to play golf today. And it's a lot of life skills along with self-regulation, responsible decision-making, judgment. There's just so many things the game of golf can offer our young scholars.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And I never in my life would have thought until hear you even say that golf brings so much more than just the thrill of the excitement of being an athlete. Because I played football, basketball, and everything, and the excitement of the cheer and the excitement of, and then you look at golf. They barely even celebrate when the ball. Yeah, it's very quiet, bro. And that when I look at that analogy, I'm like, okay, it makes sense though why so many deals are made out there because you're able to think. Whereas on the football field, basketball court, you're constantly having to move. You're constantly, and I think that's the thing in life. We're constantly moving in life, and we want the cheers of people, and I'm talking about our community. We don't want the quiet life. We don't want that life where you got to sit there, think about what you got to do, what's going next, or just having that thought process to go. You look like you want to say something. You got something you want to say about it?
Again, I go back to the sister talking about the curls. Again, think about it, man. It's 95 degrees. Guys out playing on the golf course. My wife gonna be like, "Hey, man, hey, look, okay." And I remember one time it was Father's Day weekend. We was in Tampa, Florida, and she went with me. And she play. I mean, she don't play, but she went with me. She's riding on the cart. We got Gatorade and all this stuff. We get to the turn. Now, this is like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on the pace of play. And she's like, "Whoo, boy, I'm sure glad we ready to go." I was like, "Babe, we got a whole nother 9 to play." She was like, "Huh?" So again, from a cultural standpoint, if you go to the golf course, how many systems of colors do you see out there?
Wow.
They talking about their hair. And you're like, "Man, hey, I ain't trying to be out here." And so a lot of different things. I have eczema. I have a lot of different things that sometimes golf is a challenge beyond just the game itself.
Wow.
That's funny. I didn't know that. That's a long time be outside.
My thing, I tell parents, put them in golf. You think about if a kid is practicing and playing golf, that's 4 or 5 hours a day. That's time that they are what? Not out doing something they shouldn't maybe be doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. Let's jump back to these black young boys again, man. I got a good question. What do you think it takes to save a young black man these days?
Definitely community. I think as a culture of people, how many times do we rally around and we truly collaborate? We work together. Again, when I grew up, if your parents were at work, your next door neighbor, you done took a shower, you eaten, you done got in the bathtub. Wasn't no showers in our day. I don't know who had a shower.
Yeah.
But you done got in, all clean the tub out with that Comet. Clean it out with that Comet.
Bro.
You eaten. So many of families had, grandmama took in kids that the parents were deceased or anything like that. If something else was going on where a parent couldn't take care, you didn't know who were not related because we had a community. Mm-hmm. And also with that, we were disciplined by those same people. And so, as gentrification, as different things, we're moving out. When I first moved to Nashville, August 1992, I remember Parkwood Community.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go down there because someone who had a child that was playing down in Parkwood baseball.
Yeah.
So then at the bowling alley back there.
Back to bowling, yes, sir.
So then I looked at how that community, from there, everyone started moving out away from their communities. Now you look back in our communities, now people, multiple ethnicities have moved in. So I think community, we have to work together as community. That means school, that means church, that means next door neighbors. We have to do for our sons, our daughters, our nieces, our cousins, our grandkids. And to be honest, I don't think we necessarily do a good job when we look at all of those entities. How is it that other cultures, they rally together and we do not? So right. I think that's the biggest way that how we save our kids, how we encourage them, give them affirmation and be able to speak to them from a strength base and not always from an oppressed base.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. From entrepreneurial spaces, from spaces that's going to broaden their horizon, to make them think about different things. And you hitting on some good stuff. You got something you want to say about it?
I just say, because, we're in a different time, because my grandma was one to help raise me. But now you got these young grandmothers out here, and they're not like the big mamas. They're totally different. And so I think that's where a lot of the kids, because I was like, what if they had the grandparents we had? I think it would be a lot better out here in society. But like I say, we got the young ones, so they're trying to be their friends. They try to do what they want to do. They still hang out at the club. They're just doing them, and they're not really teaching the youth. And then too, they're not like, even today, because I never forget when I was younger, my kids were younger, and my mom came in and she said, do this, do that. And I would just immediately do it. And they was like, you grown. You got to listen to her. I said, yes, I do. And so I don't see that today. You understand what I'm saying? So I think when you say community, we knew our next door neighbors. Now people don't even, you live next door, you don't know their name. You can't ask them to get your package. None of that. And it's sad. And I wonder if we would ever get that back. Because even when my parents lived, now where I grew up, those old neighbors are still there. And I'm still respectful. When I see, hey, Mr. Brown, hey, Mr. Miles, it's just their respect. But like now our kids, they don't know anything about that.
Well, I think it is incumbent upon us as the adults, as the elders. And again, I'm not going to try to force anything. But to be able, one of the things I used to always say to the men at our church back when we was on Brick Church Pike, when we was Victory on Brick Church Pike, I said, just imagine if the men went around the Parkwood Community Center. Parkwood at first did not have a community center. Then they put a community center around. I said, just imagine if we as the men went around there. We ain't in here to preach. We not anything. If you want to play basketball, play basketball. If you want to help tutor, help tutor. You want to play ping pong, play ping pong. But let them see men of character, men of integrity. What I have found is that eventually they will gravitate to you. I just was talking with a colleague today. She was talking about some young Black women. They were out, and it just happened to be one of them's birthday, and they were loving on them. And she was telling me that initially they was kind of being a little loud at the restaurant or whatever, but they just started loving on them. And they knew just by looking at them, eventually there was some conversation, that was an exchange. And said a young girl who was another young adult hugged her and say, man, thank you, auntie. So I think that, and that's not a one size fits all. I'm not saying that every kid is going to gravitate. I'm not saying every young adult is going to gravitate. I just think that if we say each one reach one.
Yes.
We just keep going back, trying to pull one, whether that is in your faith organization, if that's in your community. And again, how do we have, going back to our roots, do we actually have like a rites of passage? Do we actually, or have we lost that? The kids didn't lose it. They're actually looking for it. They ain't lost nothing. They looking for it. They are very much looking for it. And again, I'm not saying this is easy. Lord knows, there's been plenty of times like, not today. I'm not with it. I've tried. I'm tired. Yes, that happens. I just think that we have to continue. We have to be more resilient than they are resistant.
That's good, man. And I we had a couple of guests on about a week ago, the Diggs family, and they're doing some big things, man. They're bringing youth to their homes, and they said the first thing they do is they greet them, they feed them, then they start to open up in dialogue. I forgot the initials that they use, but I was allowed to preach yesterday, and I gave a message about people have to understand that your life is a letter. Paul talked about it in 2 Corinthians 3, and he talks about how your life is a letter that people will actually read. Okay, and people don't understand how what you do, the action that you do, is gonna that they're gonna notice that or vibe off of that before anything else, and they'll remember that's what will draw them back to you. That's what will bring them back into a place of, okay, I do want to listen now or hear. But if your letter is bad and you're just giving out negativity, you're arguing, complaining all the time, then it's going to be hard for that child or that young person to draw near to you, man, because I truly believe, we definitely need the discipline. We got to have it.
Most definitely.
We got to have it. But you still have to have a place of, okay, I'm showing you I love you. And I think that's the problem. And I hate to say that about the African-American community in parenting. I think growing up, a lot of parents lost that position on how to show you the love. just giving them stuff or giving them, that's not love. You give them, then you have to communicate. You got to hug. You got to, learn how to hear. And you blessed me yesterday. I keep telling you this. You blessed me yesterday because you said something to me. With one of our children, she said, I'm not going to argue or give them the place to where they can say, okay, look at my mother, or look how she's done blew a gasket. She said, I'm gonna keep calm and I'm gonna just pray and let God handle this. And that blessed me yesterday because so many of us think that we have to attack all the time. Yes, discipline, but understand when you attack, it's a way to attack. So I shut up on that, but that was a beautiful thing. You got anything you want to throw in right there, brother?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely all about holding everyone accountable. I got to be held accountable as the head of my family. My wife has to be held accountable. Our children have to be held accountable. So I believe in this. I'm a disciplinarian by nature. My children will tell you that I'm a disciplinarian by nature. I just think that we have to find a healthy balance. I think that again, I think if you took most parents, let's say the black church is probably where you can have this conversation. I don't know. If you took all the parents in there and you took a Sunday service and actually implemented some type of a parenting class, so how did your parents parent you, and what has been the impact of that?
Bro, that's good, man. How that a lot of I don't even know if a lot of pastors would take out the time to do that in a service because they don't understand. That's ministering. That to take a Sunday service, because that's the time everybody's gonna come,
right?
And they ain't gonna come Bible study. They ain't gonna come no church or no Bible study no more. But they will come on a Sunday if they took the time to just say, okay, we're gonna have a parenting class and have some successful parents maybe get up and say something, or the pastor do it. That's good, Brother Hall. That's good. You got something you want to throw in, man?
I mean, I agree with the parenting, and I think before you say I do, the man and woman need to discuss that as well, because you might have someone, because we got whooped. I got a switch and my mama done hers, no clothes on, and Teddy said he had an extension cord whoopings. I was like, what? And that's drastic. I had a friend, her mom would throw shoes. I mean, she was aiming and he should have hit, so all that but then you got the other people that say, oh, I don't believe in spanking a child. They believe in time out. So I think that's crucial. Before you say I do, you got to discuss those parenting styles, because if not, the kids can play you against each other. Then you can also lose a lot of peace in your home. So that's a very important aspect. And then two, we got to take time to get to know that person that we call ourselves want to be with. Is because I think a lot of people have gotten with people and they didn't have that communication and that discussion. And so when it came time, the kids was more important than the husband. And so the kids ran the house and it drove away the husband. So that to me led to a lot of affairs, different things. So that parenting is in it. Like you say, it's not easy, and it's not an instruction book. And every child is different. So I think in our community, we got a lot of work to do. And you're right. To me, it starts because a lot of people go, we do go to church. We spend time in church. And what better place to start is at the church.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything you want to say if I go this next loaded?
Well, I just think that also we have to look at where does the history of these kind of spankings come from. Think about what impact again did bondage have on us, and then we continue to, our ancestors continue to perpetrate what they knew as ways to control. I often tell young black males, hey man, I need you to please have a seat. Can you please whatever? And then I got to raise my voice and I said, why? You're confirming what a lot of people may believe. In order to deal with black boys, black girls, with us, is that I gotta keep my foot on their neck, because this is what you're responding to. And in my parenting class, we talk about restorative parenting. versus punitive parenting. How were you parented? Does this work? What impact does it have on you? A lot of people don't understand that maybe this parenting is not working. And again, my daughters, I have my oldest daughter. I can look at Kayla with that look of disappointment, and she'll darn near cry. Now, Symphony Nicole, who's a lot like her dad, we got to have come to Jesus. Come here. Tia Savon, I got to use words of affirmation. With my son, sometimes I tell him, hey man, having 3 sisters older than you, emotionally, I don't know if I got anything left. So I really need to be able to just dap you up and like, hey man, let's figure this thing out. So like I said, but think about where did this style of parenting, if we actually went and researched and went all the way back in time to see if this really how we were disciplined. I don't know. I've not done enough research on that, but it's one of those things that one of these days I'm going to take time to really research and understand where did that come from.
Me and my mom, we go back and forth about parenting, and I know she might be listening tonight, but we go back and forth because of some of the parenting skills that she received, some of the parenting skills she used on us, and the parenting skills that we use on our children. So, she sees things different as well as your mom, and probably your mother see things.
I'm still, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
So, no matter what, yes, ma'am, you were right, yes, ma'am.
So I say that because different generations, they have to understand that you cannot raise your child how you were raised by your mother. You can. It's no way in the world I could have raised my children the way my mother and father raised me. Absolutely not. Because if I would have done it that way, we would have had a bigger disaster than, it would have been a mess. But they did do the best they knew how. And that's the thing you got to understand. And that's the thing that brings me, it makes me always be able to love and understand is because of what they received. And that's what so many people don't understand. I'm going to go back to my letter. I keep on saying that when people look, they're looking at everything that you do from the time that someone meets you. They're studying you. They're looking to see, okay, what, and have you ever been in a position where you couldn't save a child, man, and it just bothered you? Have you been in that place before?
Man, let me tell you something. When I first got into this, originally I thought I was gonna go to the military, and then of course I started getting some letters to come, for scholarship opportunities. And so then when I got in, I remember one of my mentors, Lamar Geddes, he's gone on to be with the Most High. He ran the boys club. And back in those days, it was just the boys club. It wasn't a boys and girls club. It was just the boys club. And I remember when a lot of us played at a really prominent high school, a lot of guys get opportunities to go to college, guys and girls. We had a lot of athletes. And I said, Lamar, what did you major in? He was like, education. I was like, but you don't teach. He's like, yeah, but I got a degree. That's all. I got a degree. So I say that to say, going back to what you said, that around parenting, again, is like, even as a single parent, let me make sure that I'm putting my son, I'm putting my daughter also in these programs that exposes them. My daughters would tell you everything because I was in that profession. So now I'm being honest, I wasn't very thrilled about Girl Scout because Girl Scout is year round. I like those activities, you got 3 months on. Girl Scout was just, I'm like, man, this is too much. But they were always in things like Youth About Business, Black Achievers, Girl Scouts. Those are things that can help you as a single parent, father or mother, because plenty of times, like, hey, man, I don't really know how to put this bow red on. Your hat done came loose over here. We're going to put this cap on till we get up here to the YMCA, because some of these young teenage girls up here or some of these older girls, ladies that's working, they're going to do something about your hair.
Yeah, yeah.
And so my kids have a village that way even to this day. Oh, you little T Hall. And they'll say that to me now. People still call me by your name or things of that nature. So I mean, I think all of those things play a part in discipline, in structure, in exposure.
That's good. That's good. You got anything if I get to my
No,
rapping?
come to your question because time is winding down, love.
Yes, bro. We're going some quick rapid fire questions I want to give you real quick, man. Do you feel like spanking is effective?
For some kids, not for all. And I only spanked around two things. If it was a safety violation or if it was just repeated, man, you've been told this multiple times. And again, you know, when you're a girl dad, you ain't just spanking your daughters like that. You know, so
Yes.
my thing mostly, if it came to spanking, it was around because it was a safety infraction.
Gotcha. Next one. Phones or parents, which one is hurting kids more?
I got to say parents, because parents, you buying phones for a lot of these kids. You giving them, you know, you're getting 3 lines and you're giving them to them. You know, I had my grandson this weekend who's 8. Man, put the phone down. It's our time.
That's good.
But again, I think back to when I had my children, when I was a father. You know, that little crank up thing that they swing. That was what a lot of us in our generation used, the same way that people now let them play the tablets to play video games and all those things. So, you know, I can't throw any stones, but I think that as a parent, you're the first teacher, you're the first educator. So it's on us.
Wow.
Can teachers still make a difference?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. A lot of kids will tell you often, you ask them, who's your favorite teacher? They can tell you. So most definitely. I mean, think about it. Some kids spend more time with their teachers than they do at home. You 7.5 hours in a school building, whereas then you might have an after school, and if you play sports, by the time you get home, you take a shower, you eat or whatever, you go to sleep. So a lot of times you might be spending more time with the educators than your actual parents.
Wow. 2 other quick ones, brother. What's one thing every father should know that you think will help them be better for their students or for the students that you teach?
I think find a really good male support group that you can that can be a brave space for you, that you can be transparent, that you can because you can't pour from an empty cup. And if there's things going on with you, you need to be able to have your cup filled so you can be a good husband, you can be a good father. So I would encourage you to get you a circle of support first.
That's good, brother. And this last one, what's one thing that you encourage every mother to either stop doing or start doing?
Like I just said a few moments ago, I would encourage moms to start from day one to find an appropriate place, investigate, do your due diligence. I'm not saying you should just put your son or daughter into a space with some people that you do not know, but do everything you can to find out about them, sit in on it, be around them, go on field trips with them, but put them in spaces where they can be exposed. And if you have a son and the dad is not as engaged as maybe we would like for them to be, make sure they're in these spaces and quit letting them tell you I don't want to do it.
Wow, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna close with one thing, and then I'm gonna let you end tonight, Monica. I'm gonna let you. You want to go first? You want to go second? Or your closing statement on the night, dog?
I can go second.
All right. So what I want to say on tonight, we definitely have. It's been an amazing conversation, and we have to you all press and get in positions now to where we have to do what he just said. We have to be available, show up, and be a part of our youth going forth, y'all. It's going to take us stepping up and doing it, and we've had amazing people to talk about that, and I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. It's our time to show the world that our light, our works are going to glorify God. Go ahead, man.
And I want to, mine will be the community to get together like you with your, the men, and build a community around these kids. You know, we keep saying, how can we help? We all get together. And like you say, if it's just 1 or 2 that we can help, go out there and help them. And then they'll tell somebody else. And before we know it, we've been to help several. So I'm gonna say let's build up this community. Us adults.
That's good. That's good. And Brother Hall, thank you for coming on tonight,
Yes.
brother, first of all. And then we pray that everything that you touch and do is blessed. But we're going to leave it in your hands. Let us know once again about your organization and anything else you want us to know real quick. But just give us a final statement going out on tonight.
Well, like I said, I'm humbled by this opportunity. Thank you guys. I thank my Lord and Savior for this opportunity that, different things in my life, whether it has been academic rigor, life experiences that have helped to prepare me for a time such as this. What I would like to just end with this is say, for fathers, and especially black and brown fathers, continue. Those of you who are engaged in your students' lives, continue to make people into liars. They say that we're not in our sons and our daughters' lives. Continue to make them alive. Continue to be present, be at the schools, be at the PTA, be at their basketball games, be at their recitals. Just be a cheerleader for your kids. And just continue to do so. And mothers, we love you. We thank you because you guys have always stood in the gap. But mothers also understand that we need your sons to be, let me put it this way. Your son, would you want your daughter to marry a man like your son?
Wow.
That you're raising, that you're bringing up.
Wow.
And we dropped the mic right there. You have been listening to WFTB 104.1 FM, Tab Nashville Gospel Radio, also being recorded, Sacrificial Conversations. You all have a blessed night, and we will see. Well, we'll be on vacation next week because of the holiday, so we won't be with you all next week, but we love you all, and we'll be back the following week after the holiday. Y'all be blessed.
Yes, be blessed.